What is the best country to relocate to as an expat for English speakers? Hey, Jason here. If you've been watching the channel, you've been seeing me as I'm now carrying out my 9th year of being an expat. And I'm now in the country of Zambia in the southern region of Africa. And so I just wanted to share this information with you in case you're thinking about moving abroad to help you find a first destination that's a lot easier and simpler for you to get your feet wet. And so let's go ahead and get into today's video. So if you're thinking about becoming an expat, there's some things that are going to be really important to look at. Safety, which is one. What is the currency? Like, I advise people, don't go to a country where you're going to be actually spending in the same currency that you're coming from. Your money isn't stretching any farther. So countries like Panama, where they use the US dollar, you're not getting a competitive edge there when it comes to more bang for your buck. However, there are countries that are better, like Colombia, where one US dollar is about 4,000 pesos. Mexico, where I think one US dollar is about 17 pesos. And that will help stretch out your money and give you that competitive edge with the local economy. Now, on top of that, one of the things that you may really want to consider is, do they speak English? Because if you're someone who's just at a certain age where you're just not interested in learning a new language, or if you're someone who just have a hard time learning new languages, that will make the difference between you having a great time and having a horrible time. Now, for me, as I was in Panama for 3 years, and I was in Colombia for 3 years, I picked up Spanish. Now, in the beginning, when I got there, I was not having a great time because I wasn't able to effectively communicate to people, and English was not widely spoken. And not good English, where I don't like having to dumb down my English or to where it just doesn't make any sense to me as a native English speaker. Now, when I moved to Colombia, my Spanish proficiency began to increase. And so it was a different experience there because I was able to actually assimilate into the culture. However, you may be one of those people that are not in the mood to learn Spanish or any other language. So you will want to look into an English speaking country. So for me, I recommend the southern region of Africa. This includes South Africa, Namibia, Zambia, and Botswana. And the reason why I recommend these areas is, one, your currency is going to actually get multiplied. One US dollar in South African rand is about 18 rand right now. Excuse me. Namibia uses rand also, and I believe they have their own currency. But you can use South African rand there. So just use the 1:18 ratio. Botswana, one US dollar is about 13 pula. And here in Zambia right now today, one US dollar is about 24 kwacha. And the one other thing that a lot of people do not talk about in these regions is their English is excellent. They have amazing English here. You can hold conversations here, no problem. Very few people do not speak English. And when I say very few, I mean, on a daily basis, I may run into, let's say a weekly basis. A weekly basis, I may run into, and this is if I'm going to town or some very obscure area, maybe 2 people. And it's not that they don't know English. They just haven't used it in such a long time because they're used to either speaking Nyanja or Bimba, I'm sorry. That they just, some of the English words just don't click right away to them. And so like, you can't go wrong with that, man. Like, you can't go wrong. And then on top of that too, culturally, they understand us as Black Americans from a cultural perspective. They grew up listening to the same music as us. I believe I just listened to on the radio today, BB and CC Winans are coming back to Zambia in a few months. And their VIP tickets is 1,900 kwacha, which is maybe 75 US dollars. They know our TV shows. They understand our pop culture, everything about us. You're going to hear a lot of our 90s music here in Zambia, Botswana, and in South Africa. And that's one of the beautiful things about this region. So like, if you're someone who's really thinking about hopping off into this expat journey, and if you want to visit Africa, I would say come to the southern region first. South Africa, Namibia, Botswana, or Zambia. If you come to Zambia, let me know. I have personal drivers here that I can hook you up with. I've been creating a database of contacts here just to really be able to help people as they get on the ground here. Because look, man, I'm gonna be real with you. This expat lifestyle isn't, it looks beautiful when you're looking at it from behind the lens and you see someone showing all the good about it, but it's frustrating sometimes. And these little frustrations are sometimes the things that stop people or cut them short on actually being able to live this life full time. Luckily for me, I burnt all my bridges, meaning I sold my house, sold my car, sold all my furniture, everything. I left nothing for me to go back to in America. And so I literally said, once I leave, I'm gone and I'm going to figure this out no matter what happens. And everybody don't have to do that. And one of the beautiful things about it is when you have people like me that are on the ground in the country doing this full time. Like, as you see, I spent 3 years in Panama, 3 years in Colombia. I've now been in the continent of Africa for 2 years. Like, I'm here to stay and it's beautiful. And then on top of that, one of the other things you can do in this southern region, which is what I love, is there's a legal system here. You don't have to worry about just being ripped off all the time. Especially when we're talking about things like buying land, building houses, stuff like that, which is some of the things you may want to end up doing as an expat. So knowing that you have the legal side on the legalities on your side also, this is why I recommend this area. I can tell you, I've heard horror stories in Panama. I've heard and seen horror stories in Colombia. And here, I've only seen a lot of good things. The little bit of things that happen bad here, maybe a Yango driver rip you off, or maybe someone overcharge you in a store. And that happens very few at a time. So definitely look into this southern region. If you're thinking about relocating, or if you're an expat that's thinking about looking for a new place to repatriate to. And so that's it for today. And just remember this, I'm Jason, and success is simple once you know how.